To the music. What's up, my friends? My Ranger family, my Renegade family. Daddy Louie is here. It is Morphinominal Monday. And you know what that means. We are painting Power Rangers from Renegade's Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid board game. Woo! So the last few weeks I have been... I've been trying to do it for longer than the last few weeks, but definitely the last few weeks I have been posting on social media in different places to get votes on what you guys would like to see me paint. And I've been getting very good responses from that. So I'm going to keep doing that. Why do I bring that up? One, because if you're not doing it, you should. And two, that's what we're painting this week is what you guys voted on. It was very, very close, like within a couple of votes between Squat and Ranger Slayer. And Ranger Slayer pulled out the win. So that's what we're painting today. Ranger Slayer from... I don't remember if this particular model is in the Shattered Grid expansion or if it was a Kickstarter stretch goal. I think it was in the expansion, but you guys can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. This is a pretty big model. We got a lot of space to cover, so I'm going to get right into it here. So we've got, bam, there she is in all of her... no, she's not pink yet. I was going to say in all of her pink glory, but right now she's just white. A couple of things I want to note. I'm going to try zenithal highlighting for this particular model. I did do an undercoat of black, so you can see underneath there it's black with a white primer, in this case Wraithbone, over top of the model. If you are unfamiliar with this technique, it is called zenithal highlighting, and its purpose is to create natural highlights. So if you thin your paints down enough when you're painting the over the white area, it'll be slightly brighter than the when painting over the black area. So that is the reason that we do that. Does it work? For me, usually not. But I thought I would give it a go with this particular model. In hindsight, I probably should have just painted it black and left it that way because a lot of this particular model is in fact black. Today, I want to differentiate the cape itself from the rest of the model. So I'm actually going to use black, which I don't normally do. So we are going to use actual black. And then German gray for the cape. But all that said, we're going to do two things different today than what we've done previously. One, I'm going to try a new paint brand, a brand of paint that I have never tried. Now, my goal is to paint this entire model using these new paints. A, so that I can try them, and B, so that I have a little bit of diversity on the stream here with the particular brands that I use. Number two, wait, did I say one? One reason is so that I can do it. Two is so that I can try it. I think I just combined my one and two reasons. It may not work. I may end up hating these paints. I paid like $120 for two sets. One is their basic get started set, and then the other one is their metallics. If I fall in love with these paints, which I'm hoping I will, then I will try and use them more in the future. I'm not necessarily looking to replace my entire painting line, but at the same time, I kind of am, because I'm getting to the point now in my painting where I want to improve my skills. I want to start painting a little better, and that's very difficult to do if I'm using multiple different brands. For me, maybe it works for you. For me, it doesn't. And I just don't have every color of Citadel. There's too many. I don't have every color of Vallejo. There's too many. But with this new brand, there's not as many. So I could technically get them all and then replace all of my other ones. So what did I get? I got Pro Acryl. So a few days ago, I guess it was probably about a week ago now, I posted a poll on my social media, It's So Tiny on Facebook, at The Real Daddy Louie on Instagram, and I asked folks what their favorite paint brand was. And if every... I posted... What did I post? Citadel, Vallejo, Scale 75, Army Painter, and P3, Privateer Press. Because those are the 5 main ones that I've been exposed to. And I got an overwhelming response across multiple Facebook groups that I'm a part of, because I posted that poll everywhere. And the number one most said paint brand that wasn't one of the 5 that I put was this right here. So I did some research, and based on what I read on the internet and the videos that I watched from other content creators, this is a very good paint brand. The one thing that I don't know if I'm going to like is this is a flat color, so it comes out like a matte color. I'm used to Citadel, which is the polar opposite of that, so I may hate these. Scale 75 is matte, and I don't like them. I rarely use my Scale 75, and I paid way more money for my Scale 75 stuff. 2 things that these paints have going right off the bat. I haven't even opened any of these yet. I literally just got them in the mail today. I wasn't planning on using these until next week because I didn't think that they were coming today, and then they showed up. So 2 things that it has going for it. 1, there's an agitator ball already in the paint. It comes like that. You don't have to add more. So mixing these is fairly easy from what I understand. The other thing is it's in a dropper bottle, and the dropper bottle is supposed to be non-clog because it has this top that you spin, and it's kind of like Elmer's glue. I guess that's the closest thing that I have to compare it to. So these are not supposed to clog, and they're supposed to mix really well. 2 things that I personally struggle with, so that's good. That was a lot of talking. I apologize. Let's get started. We are going to paint her cape first. And I guess I'm going to use this dark warm gray instead of German gray. Again, this set is the basic set. I'll show you the box in a little bit. I'm just going to use my paint stir. I can hear the agitator ball mixing around in there, so that's cool. Also, last week I had tried out a new paintbrush brand. If you watched my G.I. Joe stream last week, and I said on the stream that I didn't like it, and I'm actually starting to really like it. Do these have to be opened like a certain way, or do they have... There's no paint coming out. Let's see. Oh, they have this little protective seal. That's cool, I guess, for shipping. Right off the bat, I really like that color. It's very close to German gray. Just looking at it briefly. I'm going to have to remember that those little things are on all of them. All right, so that, I don't know if you can hear it. The agitator ball in there mixing it around, that's good. Let's put a little bit on our palette. Already I can see that the consistency is nice. I don't even know if I need to water this down. I'm gonna grab my newish, this is the brand that we tried out last week. You can see I did not clean my brushes, so my tip is gone. So I'm gonna have to use some saliva there. And let's give this a go. Let's see, right off the bat. Yep, my consistency is nice. Maybe a little thinning, but not much. And here we go. Let's give this a go.
All right, let's bring that beat back.
Like I said, this may not work. I may do this first coat and be like, nope, I don't like it. And then I'll have to try it on something else later. Yeah, Power Ranger fan 30 actually, he's in the chat right now. He actually asked that I make a tip video on how to clean brushes, and that was his recommendation. And so last week, last Tuesday, I posted a video on 60 seconds on how to clean brushes. That's my goal, is to paint, to have these Tuesday tip videos where every week on Tuesday I post a video, 60 seconds or less, just helping you to improve your painting. So that was a great recommendation. Thank you for that. And hopefully you guys will go and check that out. Next week, I'll be painting the last. G.I. Joe miniature that I have currently, and I'm hoping that Renegade sends me more for future streams. I gotta check in with them and see what's up with that. Oh, my Alexa's gonna talk to me. So I started painting her shoulder pad this color, and I realized it's not, so we're gonna skip that. Her shoulder pad is just black. So far, I'm very happy with the paint coverage. However, I'm not enjoying this particular brush. So I may switch the brush and continue using the paint.
Lucky, you and me on the Charles River. I could die right now, Glenn. I'm just happier.
And I did not water this down at all. This is straight from the dropper. Alright, I'm going to switch to my Raphael 3 and see if that does a little better. We get some more of this dark, warm gray. If you're following along and you don't have acrylic, German gray is what I would use. And I will put some German gray on my palette so we can see the difference here in just a minute. Because this model is so big, I'm finding it difficult to hold it underneath the camera. Because like if I put it down on the table, there's about 2.5 inches between, maybe not even. So I'm having to like turn it sideways. So if I'm ever kind of off the screen at all, I apologize. I'll get it back. Metal Alchemy is a great color. Scale 75's metallics, I like them a lot. I used them this weekend. I filmed some tip videos for upcoming social media posts, and while I was filming and doing some personal painting, I wanted to really try out some new techniques. Because again, I'm trying to, improve my painting in new ways. Trying to break that intermediate barrier that I feel like I'm at. And, not become a pro painter, but, maybe go from intermediate to semi-expert. from JV to the varsity bench. And I feel like I learned some stuff. I did do some things that I was pretty happy with. So, and I can actually show you the miniature that I was working on for that, because it's a Renegade miniature. But it's not a Renegade miniature that you would expect. So there's the coverage on that. Like I said, it looks pretty good. I'm not too worried about 2 coats underneath the cape, because that's going to be dark anyway. I'm not going to do any highlighting underneath there. All right, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. I'm going to pull this palette over here so you can see. This is our, what is it, dark warm gray. And I want to compare it really quickly here to our normal German gray. See if we can see a difference. Looks like German gray is darker, for sure. Yeah, definitely darker. By quite a bit. So this dark warm gray is probably closer to an Esching gray from Citadel, which is fine. I wanted the cape to be gray because it's one of the focal points of the model, right? So I want it to be significantly different from the black that is going to be the majority of the rest of the model. So I'm gonna grab some black. This is coal black again from Pro Acryl. I'll make sure I take these. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming that needs to go back in there. Take off this little seal. And we'll give it a shake. So like I mentioned, most of this model is black. Her pink highlights are pretty minimal for the most part. She does have that arm guard that goes all the way down her left arm, which is another focal point of the model. I'm going to want to make sure that I paint that really well. I don't want to use too much of this paint because I don't know how good the coverage and stuff is. I am going to water it down a little bit this time with a glaze medium. Normally I use a what is it called? Airbrush thinner. But again, trying some new techniques, trying out some things. I'm also trying to not put as much on my palette as I normally do. That didn't work out just now. So now this step, I'm going to paint the majority of the model black. It'll just be a little easier for me to do all of the black now. I do realize I'm going to be painting over things that are going to be pink or white, and I'm okay with that. So one of the issues with Pro Acryl is it's not necessarily readily available in a lot of places, right? So it's not one of your mainstream things. It's just like Scale 75. Now, I personally have a local game store close to me here in the US that stocks Scale 75. They actually stock a lot of different paint brands. They're kind of known for that. But I do realize that not everybody has that luxury. I was able, with a very easy Google search, able to find a US-based website called, I believe it was called Discount Games, that sells Pro Acryls. So I didn't have to order them from overseas. I didn't have to pay conversion on, the price of the exchange rate. Basically, I didn't have to do all that, which was nice. And they were slightly discounted, and I got free shipping. I ordered them Friday, I believe, and they arrived today. So, highly recommend that site. If you're interested, I can get the actual name. I think it was like Discount Games or something like that. I had asked one of my friends who orders stuff online a lot if they had used the website before. And they had, with no problem. So I trusted them to do what they said they were going to do, shipping me that quickly, and they did. And like I said, it worked out very well, which is awesome because in the world we live in now, with shipping delays and all that other stuff, I still can't find freaking the Masterverse Trapjaw model or action figure that I've been looking for. Super frustrating. I've been able to get every Masterverse model that has come out pretty much when it's come out, so that I make sure that I have the complete set, and I can't find that dang thing anywhere. I actually posted on a He-Man Facebook group today, and somebody said, "Oh, it's because they're not out. He's been delayed, so he's not at brick and mortar stores," which is, maybe it's true, but then I've seen, there's people on eBay that are selling him for $50-$60 when MSRP is $29.99, I think. So I've checked all my local Targets, and because that's primarily where I get them, is Target, and nope, nothing. So that's frustration for me. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Masterverse stuff, it's He-Man, it's like their Lightning collection. So if you know anything about the Power Ranger Lightning collection, it's pretty much the He-Man version of that. Like, super highly articulated. Oh, dang, that's supposed to be white. That's going to be sucky to paint over. Oh, well. Highly articulated He-Man action figures. They're supposed to be like, I don't know. And anyway, since last year, when that line started last year, when the Netflix He-Man series came out, and it's been like every couple of months there's like 4 new models that come out. I keep calling them models. 4 new action figures that come out. And this last wave Trapjaw was one of the models that released. I got everything else from that wave except for Trapjaw. And I'm a completionist, so I have to have everything, and it's driving me absolutely crazy. So if you guys see a Trapjaw Masterverse model, gosh, I keep calling it a model, Masterverse action figure at your local Target, let me know, because he's pretty hard to get at the moment. Now, if the people on the Facebook page were correct, which I have no doubt that they probably know more than I do, it's possible that he's coming still. The next wave is supposed to be here like between now and May, and it's, oh man, who is it? Barbarian He-Man. No, not Barbarian He-Man. I have Barbarian He-Man. Viking He-Man, Viking Skeletor. They're like from some new age alternate universe. A different Tila than the Tila that already came out, which is frustrating that we already have two Tilas. And Merman, I believe. Do we already have Merman? No, we have Stinkor. So yeah, I think it's Merman is the last one. I realized no one had asked me for all of that information, so you're welcome that I told you all that. So opinions on this models, or on this paint. So far, I really like it. It's different. I mean, it's going to take some getting used to, but I immediately like it better than Scale 75. The coverage seems much, much better. The matte finish doesn't seem as matte of a finish as Scale 75, to my eyes anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think the coverage is the biggest part. I just want to make sure that it's not obscuring any of my details or anything like that. Alright, I'm going to let it dry for a second. The black, I'm going to go back over to my gray and just do a very quick second coat. I'm not looking for full coverage, I'm just looking for spots that might look a little thin. As he says, as I do the whole thing. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Ranger Slayer, I do know a little bit about this character, which is cool because I don't usually know a lot. And of course, if I do missay something that is not true, please feel free to correct me. I'm not all-knowing when it comes to Power Rangers. Ranger Slayer is, I believe, Kimberly from another universe. And she serves Lord Drakon, who is Tommy, also from another universe. And I believe she ultimately turns good. But she is evil. And she hunts down and kills other Rangers to collect their power coins, I believe. To give to Tommy so that he can become, I guess, more powerful. Alright, so while those dry... so dry time is a little longer. I'm noticing, and it may be because I did put that that glaze medium in. I probably should not have done that. I think going forward, I'll go back to my airbrush thinner for now. Glaze mediums, I think, are going to be important when I start doing and if I'm not mistaken, the Bow of Darkness is two of Tommy's swords mixed together, right? That's what they look like. That looks like two of Tommy's Sword of Darkness, or whatever they're called, mixed together, which is cool. It's like one sword and two sword put together. Okay. Oh, I'm noticing immediately now that I need to paint this shoulder pad. It's not fully pink. It just has some pink accents. So we're going to paint this black. Yeah, I did read most of the Shattered Grid series. I don't think I read all of it. I think I missed a few. But I actually have the finale, one of the alternate covers, signed by JDF, which is super cool. It's on my wall. She's from the Coinless universe. I'll trade you for a Masterverse Trap. Do you have a Masterverse Trapjaw? Is that what the problem is? Like the UK took them all? You guys, you're like hoarding all of the Trapjaws? So the rest of us can't get them? Alright, I'm going to let those dry for a minute before I move on. I want to show you guys the model that I painted from Renegade, where I did some blending. You can see the blending here that I did, the transition from the dark on the tip of the horns down to the light on the face. That was me practicing blending. If you've ever watched me before, you know that I do more of this, like I did here on the knuckles with just some straight up highlights. But this is actually wet blending those colors together. That's my first time ever doing wet blending, so I think that it turned out pretty good. If you are not familiar, this model is a Renegade model. This is Donner Blitzen. This dude here, Donner Blitzen, from Clank Legacy. So this is from one of the Clank Legacy expansions. My friend gave this to me last time I was in Cleveland. She bought Clank Legacy and the expansion, and she let everybody pick out what character they want to be going forward, and this is the dude that I picked out. We haven't played the game yet, but I did finally paint up the miniature. So that's what I've been working on, is learning new techniques. Okay. So back to this thing here. I think we're going to go ahead and paint the silver on the bow, aka the swords. because I'm going to have to get under here, and I don't want to jack stuff up. So let me... So now we get to open the metallics. So here's some of the metallics that came in that set. We got dark silver, silver. Let's just open this up and see what colors came. So we got dark silver, and we got white gold. That's kind of cool. We got rich gold, and we got copper, and I don't know if these will totally replace my other metallics. I really like Citadel's metallics, obviously, if you've seen me on stream. And then this is just straight up silver. And there's 3 more. Let's see what else we got. We got bright gold. Let's see, we got metallic medium. So I guess this is not a paint color. This is just how we mix our metallics, which I've never seen a metallic medium before, so that's kind of cool. Bronze, and like I said, bright gold. So in this case, I think we're just going to go with straight silver. So if I was using Citadel stuff, which is what I normally do, I would use lead belcher here, because that's what I always use. Yeah, I'll definitely let you know what I think. So far, it's pretty positive, especially when compared to, like I said, Citadel, or Scale 75. The other problem that I'm going to have is my space. So my contrast paints and my washes aren't going anywhere. So this company, Pro Acryl, they don't have any washes, and they don't have any contrast paints. So that's one thing that the other companies have going for them. So this will not replace those things for me. All right, let's grab, what brush do I want? Do I want this brush? Yeah, we'll grab this one. So this silver right off the bat is brighter than lead belcher. I'm wondering if I should go with a darker. This is Ranger Slayer. And we're testing out a new paint line as well. So, pretty cool. That's a pretty bright silver. I don't know how I like that. That's gray. Dark silver just seems too dark. It's strange that there is not an in-between here. I mean, I guess I could mix some of the dark silver in. So you can see right away how much darker of a silver this is compared to something like lead belcher. I'm going to mix the two together, the regular silver and this dark silver. So on my palette, the dark silver isn't too much darker than, I guess it is, than lead belcher. So I'm mixing, I'm doing like a 1-for-1 here. So this is 1-for-1 with... And that's much closer to a lead belcher. Yeah, you can see there now we're at a lead belcher consistency. And that's 1 part of the dark silver and 1 part of the regular silver. And I like that much better as a base. The regular silver is going to be a great highlight when we get to that step. But, yeah. Also heard another cool bit of advice from another content creator during my exploration of new methods and stuff like that. And they said, don't waste too much time or any time painting parts that people aren't going to see. So like right here, I'm painting the back of the bow. Nobody's going to see that but me. And it's just not worth the time and energy that you put into it. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time. I'm not going to hit the whole thing. I'm just going to get parts that while rotating it you may see. So here you might see that. Over here you might see that. But the stuff really close to the knee, I'm just going to ignore that part. I do want to make sure that I get the top of the bow here. The bowstring is going to be an interesting thing. Maybe I'll try out this this white metallic. Where'd it go? Not white gold. Didn't I just have a white? Or was that the medium? Am I crazy? Did I imagine that? I must have imagined it. I thought there was an actual white. White gold is going to be like a super bright gold. I don't want that. Maybe I'll just do straight silver. Where is that? I really thought that there was a white. I mean, this white's pretty white. I'm not even going to clean my brush here. Probably should, but... Is it just me, or is some of the paint leaving patches? Patches of what, exactly? I mean, I'm noticing some spots where it isn't giving me coverage, but I really think that that's because I used that glaze medium, and I might have put too much. Top of her helmet and the shoulder pad. Yeah, right there. I think that with the black especially, I put that glaze medium in there, and so it's causing some of the paint to separate, which is not what I wanted. And when I say I put some in there, I put way too much. Like, I know that now. I also didn't do 2 coats of the black, whereas I did 2 coats of the silver. So this may just be a paint that requires, 2 coats. I can also see that it's like shinier here on the arm. This is where I kind of started painting the model, and that's really because I think because of that glaze medium. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, like I said, this is all an experiment. So maybe when it dries, I will hate it, which is entirely possible. I am a creature of habit, and so it is hard for me to try new things, especially when there are things out there that I already like. Citadel is great. I really like it, but it's expensive, and like I said, it's very hard to own every color because there's just so many. And you know, if I could go back in time and start over, I would highly recommend to anyone out there, and this is personal preference, people will disagree with me, pick a brand, buy a couple of colors, and when I say a couple, like 2 or 3, and try them until you find the brand that you really like, and then buy every color that that brand has, and strictly stick with that color that paint brand that you know you like. Because from an investment standpoint, it just, yeah. And you know, another thing too that might be working against me is that Zenithal highlight. I don't necessarily know if I like it, which is unfortunate because I primed this Boba Fett miniature in that Zenithal highlight for another project that I'm working on, and I am concerned now. Like, I may go over the model with my standard. And again, maybe I'm just spoiled, right? Creature of habit, and I know that that's what I like. I don't know. White. I'm gonna do white next. Yeah, because there's not a lot of it. So this is going to be one of those times that I'm really going to miss Citadel because I don't have my Ulthuan Gray, right? So this is kind of the colors that I have. This is obviously pure white. This here is called Bright Warm Gray. This is Ivory, and then this is Bright Ivory. So this is kind of a Wraithbone-ish kind of color. Not really, though. I don't know what I want to do here. I might do... Let's try this Bright Warm Gray. I don't think I'm going to like it, but we'll see. This primer was done a long time ago in Rust-Oleum, and now I use Wraithbone. Yeah, Wraithbone is it, man. It's so hard for me to use anything else. But I did. So this model was Army Painter matte black, and then a Zenithal highlight of with Wraithbone over top of it. And I did the same thing with the Boba Fett. I just yeah, I don't know if I like it or not. We'll see. Yeah, so this is definitely like a Wraithbone or maybe like a Screaming Skull from Citadel. Wow, the coverage is nice though. What's cool about Pro Acryl, like I mentioned briefly at the start of the stream, is that they don't have a ton of colors. So it's relatively, and keep in mind I mean relatively, it all depends, it's all relative, right? It's relatively inexpensive to buy all of the colors. So if I like this, I can foresee myself getting all the colors very soon. Or, I mean, as soon as I can anyway. Maybe not all at once, but like every few weeks buying another box or two. And I think there's 4 or 5 expansions total. They call them expansions. You can buy individual colors if you want, but again, I'm really trying to get down to where I'm just using one brand all the time. So this is pretty good coverage. I don't like the color for this. I will end up going over it with white, but it's a nice little base. Her belt is also white, as well as her holster. So if I was painting with Citadel here, I would do all of this in Althuan Gray with some pure white highlights. I think my Celtics are playing. Well, I know my Celtics are playing tonight. I think the game starts right now, actually. All right. Yeah, so that's more of like a cream color. I guess on camera it looks pretty white, but in person it's a little bit more of a cream than I would like. So I'm going to grab my bold titanium white. I don't usually paint with pure white, so we're going to see how well this works out. I may mix in a little bit of that ivory just to dull it down, or whatever I called it, gray ivory or something. And I'm having a really hard time figuring out if these things need to be watered down or not. I mean, it comes out the bottle really nice. It's not caking or anything like that. mean, I guess you could thin it if you wanted to. But I wouldn't thin it much. Traditionally, white is such a difficult color to paint. Usually I would use a contrast paint for white. I would just throw the Wraithbone back on top and then just use a contrast paint over top of it. But we are trying this without Citadel, so... Except for the primer, obviously. But in fairness, I didn't know I was going to be doing this when I primed it, so... You can't really hold that against me. So you may be asking yourself, or maybe not, why don't I just paint it pure white? And here's why. If I decide that I want to put a wash on the model, and if I decide that I want to do highlights, if I paint it white, I will not be able to highlight it because I can't get any brighter than white. It's the same thing with the black situation. Now, in this case, I did paint the whole thing black, mostly because I want there to be very nice separation between what I'm doing with the black versus what I'm doing with the gray. I don't think there's anything else on the model that's white except for her neck seal. Let's see if I can get in there. Let's use a smaller brush. By the way, I've done this entire thing also with brushes that are not my standard brushes. So we're really mixing it up today. Where is this it? No, that's not it. I know I have this one. Here it is. There's not much of her neck seal showing, so I'm not super worried about it. That's what I was worried about. I got some white on her face. All right, so now we're going to move on to the pink. Start making this model pop a little bit. So the closest thing I've got to pink here is this magenta. So I'm going to put that on the model first, see how we like the color, and then if I need to add some white to it, I can. Again, I'm taking this little seal off here. That's a pretty good color. You might not need any. Are you going over the white with some pink? I will on that sleeve part. Any update on my father's work? What? I don't even know what that means. I'm not super concerned with getting this perfect. It's another game by Renegade. That's what it's called. My father's work. Not heard of it, sorry. I don't actually work for Renegade. Like, I'm like a private contractor that they just pay to do the painting. I'm not actually on their payroll. Although if they want to hire me, I am available. So please, please hire me. But yeah, I don't know answers to questions like that, unfortunately. So straight out the pot already, just looking at this color without adding white to it. It's pretty much spot on what I need it to be. This magenta, which is cool. It's like a very sharp pink. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that looks great. So big fan of this color at the moment, especially for painting Pink Rangers. That's one thing I've struggled with Citadel, because up until like 2 weeks ago, I did not have Emperor's Children in Fulcrum Pink, which I think is the pink color of choice amongst Pink Ranger painters. I was using a very dark pink. So I was using, what is it called? Pink Horror, which is more on the purple spectrum than it is on the pink spectrum. So I'm glad that I have this alternative, even though I did buy Emperor's Children and whatever else I just said, specifically for painting Pink Rangers, but it's okay, you live and you learn. So this is a very challenging spot, so bear with me here. Getting this this leg armor around the bow, because it will be visible. So I am concerned with getting the paint on there without getting it on the bow. If I do get it on the bow, no big deal. I can get some more silver on my palette and just paint it, but if I cannot get it on there, I'm good with that too. bow. How about that? This brush is fantastic. I take back all of my crap I said about it last time. That looks so good. All right. Let's see. So we got the diamonds on her chest. Let's move to those next. So because this model is primarily black, we do not need to do a wash. I may want to do a wash on the bow. I do want to do a wash on the bow and on the cape. So in just a second, we're going to take a break from this pink and do that so that it has time to dry. But on the rest of her uniform, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put a wash on it just because it really doesn't matter on the black. The diamonds don't really go all the way around her back, I don't think, but it's hard to tell because yeah, so some of that paint is still not dry, some of that black. So that is one downside that I'm going to call out on these paints now. At least from what I'm seeing, is that they are not drying quickly. And it looks like the gray might have dried quick. So again, it could be that glaze medium I put in there. But I didn't realize that the glaze medium was supposed to do that. So it almost makes me think it's not that. I don't know. It's very, very strange. Because this is dry. It's got to be that. It's got to be the glaze medium. So, note to self, do not use the glaze medium specifically with these paints. I would need to test it out on other paints first. And again, it was one specific YouTuber that I watched that recommended using the glaze medium to thin down their paints instead of water. So, negative feedback to that person. I think the inside of her gloves are pink. Like, So I have to ask in the chat. This is going to seem like a weird question for a Power Ranger chat, but I don't get to really socialize much, so you guys are just going to have to do. Has anyone in the chat watched Grey's Anatomy? Shout me out if you've seen most of, if not all of, Grey's Anatomy. You saw the first season. Okay. That doesn't really count. Not for the purposes of my question, which will come once I know if anyone has seen it. I'm not getting any response, so maybe it's just me. So anyway, the reason that I'm asking, which will be completely unapplicable now because no one will be able to respond to anything that I say. My wife and my daughter and I, at the start of the pandemic, I have a son too, but he spends most of his time in his room playing video games with his friends. He's older. My wife, my daughter, and I, at the start of the pandemic, started finding TV shows that we could binge that had been on for a long time. So we could binge the whole thing. Like, we watched all 9 seasons of One Tree Hill. We watched... Oh, man. I don't even remember everything that we watched, but we watched a bunch of different stuff. By the way, I just painted that little hand guard because I'd forgotten about it earlier. And I didn't want... Oh, I wanted to take a break so I could do from the pink, so I could do the wash. So again, I am going to have to use a Citadel wash. Because scale 75 does not make a wash. So I'm going to use Nuln Oil, our favorite trusty Nuln Oil, and I'm going to grab my my shade brush, also from Citadel. I don't really like Citadel's brushes except for their shade brushes. And I'm just going to put this all over the cape. I'm not super worried about the inside of the cape. I really mostly just want the outside. So we started watching Grey's Anatomy. We are on we're like halfway through season 6. And keep in mind, we've only been doing this for like less than a month. So that's how many episodes we binge. Like, on the weekends we binge a shit ton, and then during the week we usually watch, on average, like 1 or 2 episodes a night. Just depending on what else we've got going on. Like tonight we'll probably maybe get lucky and watch 2, but probably only watch 1. So yeah, so we're like halfway through season 6, and something horrible happened recently, and I just can't get over it. And I really want to talk to somebody about it. But apparently I'm like the only guy on the planet that has watched Grey's Anatomy. But I also don't want to talk to somebody who's going to spoil everything else for me, you know what I mean? Because I've only watched, we're not done. We're not caught up. And I did post something on Facebook, and everybody was like, oh, but you're 12 years behind at this point. You can't get mad about spoilers. Well, sure I can if I ask people don't spoil it for me, and you do it anyway. Anyway, that's all I wanted. We can talk about something else now. Basketball. Does anybody watch basketball? My Celtics are on fire right now. I think they're going to sweep the Nets tonight. Do I think it needs a wash? That really depends on if you plan on doing any highlighting or anything like that. I think the cape is one of her, this particular cape especially, is one of the things that like draws you into the model. That and her bow. And then obviously the pink on black really draws the eyes too. So I just put it on the bow, that metallic on the bow, and on the cape, because I want it to really set in the recesses. I'm going to try and pick up some of the parts where it's pooled, that I don't want a ton of it. All right. Now we're going to go back into our painting here, painting the pink. On these chest diamonds, I'm needing to do 2 coats because we're painting over black. The leg guards, I didn't paint the black on them, or at least I tried not to. So I don't need that second coat on there, but these I'm painting over black, so I do need a little bit of a second coat on here. Might even need a 3rd coat, but we'll see. And then we go to the helmet here. So it looks like her design on the... Yep. So I'm not super concerned if I get pink where black is. I've done pretty good so far not doing that. But if I do, black is easy to cover up, so... I may need a smaller brush here in a second. Let's see. Yeah, I definitely need to go smaller on the brush. So I got a little bit of a teaser for everybody here in the chat. Since you're watching me today, I'll give you a teaser that I'm not going to give anybody else, at least not for a little while, a couple days. And that is that next week, Tuesday, when I paint for the G.I. Joe game, I will be painting 2 models at the same time, which should be really interesting because the models are both extremely similar and extremely different. No, I shouldn't say extremely different. They're extremely similar, but fairly different, to the point where I won't be able to paint them both the same way. So it should be really, really fun. So you want to make sure, if you're at all interested in painting at all, you don't have to be a G.I. Joe fan. Come and hang out with us, because that should be fun. I'm having a really hard time because I can't touch the cape where I want to rest my finger, because it's wet. But it's hard for me to get these details without having somewhere to support the miniature, if that makes sense. So I'm struggling. Like one in each hand, no. It is not Power Ranger related, but it is painting related. And the G.I. Joe game will be compatible, completely compatible with the Power Ranger game, so still seems pretty relevant. I've had so much fun painting the G.I. Joe miniatures on stream. The quality of the minis is just unreal. And I don't know if it's because that's just what they're doing with the game, or if it's because they're 3D resin prints, like early copies that I got, and so the details are just super crisp. I don't know what it is, but I can say with 100% certainty they are by far among the best miniatures I have ever seen. So that helmet piece there is going to need an extra coat. You can see that just by looking at it. But I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to start working on a few other details here really quick. I realize I'm running out of time. Yeah, the rim of silver might be really hard to do. I might skip that. It's not super noticeable anyway. I mean, I know I still got to do the mouthpiece. I'm taking my time with this trim because I feel it's very important to bring, to really make the model pop. All this pink trim that she has on her uniform and in the different spots. It's much easier to do one side first and then Look at what a big difference that makes, huh? So yeah, so I'm officially in love with this pink color. For sure. And I think it would highlight very well. It looks great over the black. It looks great over the white.
Never felt that before.
And I think a little bit of white mixed in would turn it into a great highlight color without needing to do a ton of work. The arm looks super cool. Yeah, it does. There are a lot of other trim spots that we need to get here. I'm just going to use the side of my brush. Hopefully that does the trick. I don't want to jinx it, but we've done a great job so far not getting pink anywhere we don't want pink. So I want to try and continue that trend. Again, not because it's super hard to clean up and kind of redo, but because it just saves us time from having to do that, which gives us more time for the other stuff. Ooh, my hand just got super shaky. Cape is finally almost dry, so I can put my finger rest my finger on parts of the model. It makes things easier and when I can stabilize. The wife and I also started watching a show called The Morning Show on, I think it's on Apple TV. We only watched like the first 2 episodes yesterday. If anybody's seen that, thinks they should keep watching it. We realize we have Apple. We got the Apple TV and we don't really ever watch it. We watched Ted Lasso and that was pretty much the only thing we've watched on there. So we were browsing yesterday and the cast of The Morning Show looks really good, so. Yeah, Jennifer Aniston, Steve Carell, and Reese Witherspoon. First 2 episodes were pretty good, so I think we're gonna keep watching it until we don't, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Apple Music or Apple TV, we have like the package that's like $30 a month, and it gives us Apple TV, Apple Music, which I use pretty much every day, and my kids use it every day, and the extra storage for the iCloud, which we definitely need because there are 4 of us that take pictures and post stuff to the cloud, so it's worth the $30 or however much it is per month. But then, you know, you have so many streaming services that you forget kind of what you got. There's a mold line on our foot that I forgot to clean up. Mold lines don't usually bother me. I usually don't spend a ton of time cleaning them up, mostly because like I'm not trying to win any contests or anything like that. So I mean, if they're huge, I'll try my best to clean them up, but let's check our pinks again. I really wanted to spend some time trying some of that new wet blending technique on the cape and stuff, but I do not think I'm going to have time. As a matter of fact, I know I'm not going to have time. I'm going to grab some of that pure silver for her mouth. Mixing a little bit of black with that dark metal to do in here. These little details on the sword. In the picture, they look completely black, but I kind of like keeping that metallic aesthetic here. So my hope is that it'll look pretty decent. Ted Lasso is fantastic. I don't understand why it gets so much crap for the second season. I thought the second season was just as good as the first season. A lot of people don't like it, but poo on them because I thought it was great. Oh man, I might end up having to just do those black. It's just not coming out the way I wanted it to. I'm gonna put more black on my coal black. I'm gonna put it away from the other black that I had. Honestly, I just gotta find somebody to give me their Paramount Plus. Not Paramount Plus. What is that one from NBC? I don't even remember what it's called. Pelican? No. Peacock. That's what it is. I need Peacock. Just so I can watch The Office.
Not exactly clear whether they even truly exist.
Not having The Office anymore has really put a,
If one day physics finds a use for them,
Oh no. Did you guys see that? Did that get on camera? I had my paint open and I shook it. Red paint everywhere. Wow, I have red paint all over the place. All over my favorite Power Ranger shirt. Actually, it's my only Power Ranger shirt. Alright, so make sure that you close these things before you shake them. Otherwise, you will have happen to you what just happened to me. I got a red bath. So in case you couldn't tell, I'm grabbing some red for this sword detail. God, I can't believe I did that. I'm gonna go upstairs and my wife's gonna be like, what the hell happened to you? Me and the miniature got into a fight. The miniature won. And here I'm just going to grab a little bit of the white from my palette from earlier. Not a lot, just a little bit, because I don't want it to be pink. And I'm going to go from about midway. A little bit more white. Also just realized that I have not painted her morpher yet. So let's see if we can try and knock that out real quick. Also have not painted the straps on her leg armor yet either. What? Maybe I just did too much talking today. Was that it? Is that why I'm more talking, less talking, more painting? I feel like this model isn't that complicated. I mean, maybe it's true from trying out the new paints and stuff. I'm going back to my gray color from my from the cape. That's what I'm coloring that's what I'm painting the straps as. Anybody out there in TV land watching the Celtics game? Want to give me a score update? I don't know if anybody watches basketball here. I don't watch a ton of it, not like I used to. I used to watch literally, like, the first few years that I was a fan, I would watch every single game without fail. And if I wasn't home for whatever, I was listening to the games. I was, like, diehard for a little while there. But then we got rid of cable, and it made it a little harder. And now we have cable back. There was also a stint where they sucked really bad, so it was hard to watch them. Alright. Pretty happy with the straps like that. Pretty happy with the bow. See if we can keep working on this morpher. Gosh, I only got 5 minutes left. I'm gonna have to do the base off camera and then post the pictures to my social for you guys to see the finished product with the base done. Let's grab some gold for the power coin. I'm gonna use this rich gold. Looks good. Didn't open it this time. So I feel like we've used a healthy number of these paints. Obviously not all of them, but I feel like we used like 5 or 6 different ones. Well, I'm pretty happy with it. I am bummed that we didn't get to finish it. The base. I don't know what I'm gonna do for the base, honestly. Whew. Don't drop the model. I also wanted to do a lot more with the cape. Like I want to, you know, bring back that original color in as many of the places as I can where light would be hitting it. And then I was going to do some blending and stuff like that. But unfortunately, we just we ran out of time. And, you know, I don't want to do a second stream of this model just for that. I'd like to get to more miniatures because there's still so many Power Ranger miniatures we have to paint. But real quick, a good way to, you know, start the blending is to decide what colors you're going to blend with and get them all on your wet palette in advance. And then just start layering them on top of each other and pulling the paint, you know, where you want it to go. If you have any suggestions on how you think I should paint the base, I mean, I'd like to do a, I mean, should I do the bottom? Yeah, I think I'll do the bottom in pink. And then the rim in a different color. Yeah, I could shelf it and then, you know, do it on a different stream if we finish early. That's true. I don't feel like we ever really finish early enough in these. We have been on the Power or on the G.I. Joe streams. I feel like those are just slightly easier and faster models to paint. But You get the idea. There's some quick highlighting, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna go because otherwise I'll be here all night doing this. Because that's just the perfectionist that I am. I hope that you think she looks cool, because I think she looks cool. I'm not 100% sure on these paints. I'm definitely gonna have to try them more. So be on the lookout for that, because we'll be doing that here. And yeah, so next week, Tuesday, which is May 3rd, I believe, we'll be doing a G.I. Joe stream. I don't know if that's going to be my last one. Like I said before, it is the last model that I have from Renegade. So we'll see if I can get some more. I think I will be, but we'll see. 2 weeks from today is... What day is it? Hold on. 9th. May 9th. We'll be doing another Power Ranger stream. Make sure you follow all the socials. It's So Tiny Facebook. At The Real Daddy Louie on Instagram for your chance to vote multiple times. I post on all the Renegade groups as well, the Power Ranger and the Renegade Painters groups, so make sure that you check those out. I will be starting my own live stream Thursday, May the 5th, Revenge of the 5th. That'll be twitch.tv/Circle of Nerds. And I'll be doing that every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure that you check that out. And I think that's it for all my plugs. I love you. Stay safe. Thank you to Renegade, as always, for having me and allowing me to do this. I love you. And remember to take care of yourself, take care of others, play your games, and paint your miniatures. And I'll see you next week. Bye. Where's